If you're sitting at home and bored, this might be the perfect time to get into investing. This is not professional advice. I'm just showing you the 3 steps I did to get into investing as a teenager. Your first step is to open a brokerage account. I personally love TD Ameritrade, and they have a ton of different options, even for minors. But you can just choose individual brokerage if you're getting started, and I'll go in depth into your different options in future videos. Step 2, once you're logged in, you'll be able to download a software called Thinkorswim. This is where you can trade and also analyze charts. The most important option is paper money. This is where you can practice investing before actually doing it. I highly recommend starting out with paper money first. Step number 3, watch a ton of videos on YouTube and get used to using things like patterns and different indicators, also called studies, to read your charts. Once you can read charts, you'll be able to predict whether a stock is moving up or down and trade accordingly.
This is a deck of 52 cards. I'll make you a proposition. We'll pick a card for you and then a card for me. If your card is higher than mine, I'll give you $120. If my card is higher than yours, then you have to give me $100. Do you want to play? If you're risk averse, you might not be willing to, fearing that you're going to lose $100. Now, what if I said we could play the game 1,000 times? Would you be likely to play? Of course you would, because you're going to win about half the time, win more than you're losing, and so over time you're going to come out ahead. Now, what if you thought about this card game not as a one-time event, but just another one of the thousands of opportunities presented to you during your life? Then if you thought about every opportunity this way, you'd be more willing to talk to that girl you like, start that business, or whatever else you're thinking about doing. Sure, you're going to lose some, but assuming no loss is catastrophic, in the long run, you're going to come out ahead. You would have won, by the way.
All right, listen up. This is how you can actually trade Forex to make some side income or even for a living. So the first thing you're going to need is a brokerage. This is the person that puts in your orders for you. Stay away from multi-level marketing companies. You don't need them. Next, you're going to need a chart software. I use TradingView.com. So then on TradingView, you just simply connect your broker to your charting software, as you see right here. Then you'll have to learn how to read a chart. It's very simple. Whatever happened in the past is likely to happen in the future. Once you got all that down, you can now buy and sell different currencies for a profit right there on the chart and make money on your computer from home. Good luck.
Here's some free stock market tools that I like to use. So first is Thinkorswim. It's really good for technical analysis, studying charts, and they have a pretty good scanner as well. Finviz.com is also really good for scanning for stocks. I also like to use the list of top losers they have here. And if you search a specific company, they'll tell you all the news and recent events around that stock. This one's kind of basic, but I like to use Yahoo Finance. It has all the stats you need in one central place. And they also have all the financial reports, balance sheets, all that stuff in one place as well. I also like to trade biotech, so this FDA tracker calendar here is really good. It just tells you upcoming drug approval dates for specific companies, and obviously these could serve as catalysts for the stock, so it's good to know these. And when I'm trading options, I really like barchart.com, just because it has a really nice page where it shows you the most active options and what kind of volume they have. There's probably a million other tools out there, so be sure to drop your favorite tools in the comments. If you're investing, you need to understand dilution. So let's say there's a company that has 100 outstanding shares. You buy 25 shares, which equals 25% equity in this company. Now let's say this company needs more money. They've run out of money. They do something called a secondary offering. So they come out and say, we're going to sell 100 more shares so that we could raise money. So now instead of having 100 shares total, there's actually 200 outstanding shares. So now with 200 outstanding shares, if you still own the same amount, which is 25 shares, you actually only own 12.5% equity in this company, whereas before you owned 25%. This type of behavior is very common with drug companies that go a long time without making any money while they develop new drugs. When a company announces a raise like this, the stock price usually goes down. That's because the new stock is usually offered at a much lower price than the actual value that the stock is trading at currently. This is to entice new investors.
If you're Canadian and you invest in a tax-free savings account, you need to watch this video. Before you buy any US stocks, you need to consider this. When you invest in a US company that pays dividends, 15% of that dividend goes towards a foreign withholding tax. Now, usually whenever you pay a foreign withholding tax on your US dividends, the government of Canada will give you a foreign tax credit to compensate. But if you get that foreign withholding tax in a tax-free savings account, then you cannot get a foreign tax credit for it and you lose 15% just like that. Now, what's the solution? Well, if you want to invest in high dividend paying stocks from the US, consider opening up a cash account and buying them in your cash account so that this way you can get a foreign tax credit to compensate that 15% withholding tax.
Don't miss this investment opportunity, part 5. And that's cybersecurity. Cybercrime damages are expected to reach $6 trillion by 2021. That's a double up from $3 trillion in 2015. And this could be the greatest transfer of economic wealth in history, while being more profitable than the global trade of all major illegal drugs. Due to security concerns, India has banned TikTok, and the US and many other countries are looking at this as well. In 2016, Yahoo went through a major cyber attack, where 1 billion users' accounts were hacked. And while investigating, they found that information from 200 million accounts went for sale on the dark web. And when you look up cyber ransom attack, you'll find that everyone's a target. This is basically where information is stolen and where these hackers demand payments before they return this information. And the average ransom payment amount increased by 104% in Q4 2019. And while the company's systems are offline because of these attacks, they're losing 200% more than the year before. And this is all while companies are spending more on cybersecurity. And I think this will be a bigger concern with more people working from home. Drop your favorite cybersecurity stock in the comment section.
Best advice I can give to teenagers starting to invest: don't get fancy with it. When you're like 18 years old, losing $2,500 could be pretty devastating if all you're making is $10 an hour. That being said, we want to focus on steady growth. We don't want to blow up our account by trying to trade options or day trading right off the bat. We don't have much money to play with. We want to stretch our money as far as we can. So as a teenager, how I stretched my money the furthest was I would only invest in blue chip stocks like Apple, and then also stocks that had high growth potential in the next 5 to 10 years. So for me, this was Tesla back in 2015. Now here's the real key. In Canada, we have something called a TFSA, or in America, it's called the Roth IRA. These are just tax-free savings accounts. Well, I would park all these investments in my tax-free savings account until my contribution limit was maxed out. So now when those stocks grow over the next 5 years, 10 years, all that profit is going to be tax-free.
What is up, sneaker fam? Today I want to talk to you about an upcoming sneaker that you must invest in this month. Let's go. Alright, so here it is. We have the Nike SB Dunk Opti Yellow releasing July 24th, 2020. They retail at only $110 and have the potential resale of over $1,000. Don't sleep. Tons of profit to eat.
Investors, do you keep missing out on massive runs like NVAX, which is up almost 2,500% in the last 6 months? Or mRNA, which is up almost 300%. This free tool will help you find the next biopharma massive run. The website is called biofarmcatalyst.com. Go to Catalyst Calendar on the left, choose FDA Calendar, and here you can see a list of all the biopharmaceutical catalysts that are coming up in the next few months. It shows you important information like the ticker, the price, the drug, the stage, and the catalyst and when it's happening. I post every single one of my trades on my Discord server. Link is in bio.
People make millions of dollars in the stock market when they invest in companies with asymmetric risk-reward ratios. Let me explain. After Tesla began trading on the stock market on June 29 in 2010, they traded between $20 and $30 for the next 2 years, which at the time was a fair valuation because people had no idea that Tesla was going to turn into the company it is today. But people that were able to invest in Tesla at this $2 to $3 billion valuation are very happy right now. The people that invested in Tesla back in 2012 realized that their investment had little downside risk when compared to the total upside potential, or better known as asymmetric risk reward. These people realized that they could cap their loss at 10%, but if Tesla delivered on their expectations, they'd be able to profit much more than 10%. Hence why it's called asymmetric risk reward. A company I believe that has positive asymmetric risk reward right now is Slack. The coronavirus has forced unified communications, aka enterprise communication services. If Slack can penetrate 5% of the market by 2025, asymmetric reward